Mesdames et messieurs, Jean-Michel Jarre est avec nous, s'il vous plaît. Professeur Li est avec nous, venant de Chine directement, et son traducteur. It's such an honor, gentlemen, to have you with us this morning. L'intervention va être en anglais. We are really so grateful for you, both of you, to join us at this World AI Cannes Festival. We have here really innovators. We're going to discuss music. We're going to discuss ethics, so much to say. And we also discuss around well-being and perhaps health music. Gentlemen, please have a seat. So, Professor Li, when did you arrive in France? When? Was it yesterday? Was it a few days ago? Perhaps a mic? There should be... Yeah, okay, thank you.
Yesterday
Yesterday
morning.
Okay, so you are in a French Riviera. First time for French Riviera for you?
The third times.
Third time, okay, so you...
The last time is also an AI summit in Paris.
Okay. So you're comfortable with all those AI topics, and we're going to, of course, get back to it. So Jean-Michel Jarre, how to describe this guru, you know? Jean-Michel Jarre, if you remember well, 50 years ago, Oxygen, you remember, Oxygen was made in the studio where I'm working right now, by the way. So for me, it's a real pleasure, Jean-Michel, et merci vraiment pour toute ta gentillesse sur ce plateau. Jean-Michel, quelle est ton actualité? What is the news for you? I think you've got a mic also. Yeah, just here, sorry.
Yes, but
because 2026 is very important for you.
Yes, actually, the reason of my presence here in Cannes is actually linked, of course, with AI. As you know, I'm quite involved with AI now for 10 years. And recently, I visited China. It was during the official visit of our president, President Macron. And I stayed over there 10 days, actually. And I had the opportunity to visit lots of different companies linked with AI. And this is because of Rui here, one of the big members of Europea. And it's because of her that we've been able to, and I've been able to be in contact with lots of giants and major actors of AI. And especially, I came back to a place very dear to my heart, which is the Conservatoire of Music of Beijing, because a long time ago, I've been the first Western musician to play China, and I did a masterclass just before the concert at this school, at the Conservatoire of Music of Beijing, and I contributed to create the first electronic music class in China, in Beijing. So I kept a long-time relationship with this place, and I was invited by Professor Li to visit a fantastic department called Music, AI and Neuroscience. And we spent a lot of time together. And I said, when I came back, I said to Cannes and to that we should invite Professor Li, because we have so much to learn about the approach China and China in general has regarding AI, and also the fact that AI is considered through his control and his knowledge like a kind of new solfeggio. And I'm very, very happy, and I thank Professor Li having been able to be with us today. It's a great honor.
Thank you, Jean-Michel. Thank you. And thank you, Professor Li, again. Thank you for your time and for all those efforts. Just before I leave you the mic, Jean-Michel, why? I mean, I remember, of course, one of my disques de chevet, which is Concert en Chine. How could we forget this? Why China as a territory? Because I thought that, AI was a worldwide trend, and whatever you are in the world, whatever the country, things happen. But you're telling us, in few words, that no, something special is happening in China. What do you mean?
I said that, we have in the West lots of preconceived ideas regarding what we don't know. And lots of people don't really know what China is all about. China is very close to us because it's an ancient and an old culture with a huge history, like France, like Italy, like Europe. And we have a lot in common, and especially because we are talking about AI, in our relationship with technology, which is very special, very different. We have a much more human, I would say, organic, tactile, and philosophical, almost, approach to technology and to AI. And what I always thought, and I've always been impressed by the fact that today China is actually using also, like we do, like we should do in France and in Europe, using their huge cultural and philosophical background to approach technology not only just on the business side, but also on what could be an augmented element for human beings. And I think that the way Professor Li and his team are actually considering and using AI as an opportunity for transforming creation and creative process is something that we should really listen to, and we should really also adopt for us, because we have the same kind of approach, in my opinion, of using our past to create the future. And which is very, very special. In America, it's something different. In America, it lives much more in present time, and it's very efficient. But we have something else, and we have this in China. And as I said to all my friends in China, Donald Trump is a big opportunity for us, for China and for Europe, to join forces.
Thank you, Jean-Michel. I remember also your concert in Houston also, by the way. We're talking about USA. Professor Li...
Having said that, I love American people. I have problem with some of them, that's all.
I know that you like US synthesizer, but that's another story. Professor Li, how do you merge your civilization of 5,000 years with all this modern approach that Jean-Michel is referring to? How do you use AI in this context?
Yes. 就是我们目前人工智能的数据算法算力方面的数据显示，人工智能在很多方面已经超越了人类。
So currently, some of the data showing either from the computing power or data or the algorithms for AI already go beyond to the human abilities.
很多人认为就是艺术不会被人工智能代替，但是近些年来，人工智能已经把艺术也计算掉了。
Before, somebody always thinking arts could be not replaced by AI, but for now we can see a lot of the arts had already been computed by AI already.
我是人文主义者，但是我们要面对一个更大的智慧体对艺术的冲击。
So I am a humanism, but we need to say at this moment we need to think about facing a giant AI like an agent or to like a punch to the human civilization.
我们人类其实是挺渺小的，我们所有人类的知识对大脑的认知才5%以内，对大模型的认知也是0，它是一个盲盒算过去。所以在这个时候，人工智能计算人的艺术的同时，我们不了解人的大脑，也不了解大模型，这个时候我们就要准备好迎接未来。
So frankly speaking, actually humans to think about their power of the brains is currently very small. Only 5% to be realized by the human beings. And for the big models, probably starting from 0 is like a black box. So at this moment, even facing on the black box, we need to think about how to use it and how to think about their power to against the human beings' brains.
对，大家不用害怕我说了那么多啊，因为我也是人文主义者。我认为啊，我们现在就像雅尔先生说的，我们要驾驭这个人工智能。雅尔先生上次受法国总统，他陪法国总统去中国以后，受马克龙总统的这个委托，去到了我们那里，我们做了很深入的交流。我们一致认为，我们人类未来的艺术将会站在 AI 的巨人肩上前行。
So don't be afraid about something we just talked before, because we do think about the human beings in the future need to be always moving forward and to be standing on the shoulders of AI. So last year, Mr. Yang and with the President Macron and also as the Macron's some of the idea, and he and team come to visit the Central Conservatory of Music in China and also to our department, Music and Music Information Technology. So we have a very deep conversation, and we do think about in the future human beings need to be moving forward and to have got some of the help from AI.
对，未来我们也希望跟雅尔先生一起携手，为人类做更大的事情。
So in the future, we do think about it with Mr. Yang and team, and we want to be collaboration with together and to do some more powerful and interesting things together.
在座的各位也希望大家一起携手，我们一起。
And also to everybody here, let's collaboration.
Such positive words around AI, around our cross-cultural approach. Thank you for this open-minded spirits, very well appreciated. You know, in Europe, perhaps I could say there's a kind of, not for you because you're all specialists around AI, but there's a kind of fear of, you know, especially when you connect AI to arts, with music, but also with other arts. In China, would you say that, and Jean-Michel, the question is also for you, would you say that in the last 3 years, there is a kind of evolution around the population facing AI and arts?
Yeah. 人工智能现在已经把我们的，比方说作曲、音乐教育、音乐表演等等在音乐方面都已经在各个方面呢渗入了。
So in China, for now, the AI has already been very deep impacted into like the music composition, music performance, or music education extra.
大家都知道，现在人工智能作曲写一般的流行歌曲，90%的作曲家专业的作曲写不过它了。
So for example, currently the AI, they can beat almost 90% of the pop music composer.
对，但是有些人可能不同意不同意我这个观点，认为人工智能写的没有人的情感。但是其实人工智能大模型是学习了人的情感的表达方式。
But somebody maybe not think about or agree with us, and they think maybe the composition by AI doesn't that impressive, but actually the AI composer they also learned about the humans' motions from the big model.
对，有些人说他能听出人工智能作曲的东西，但是这个是肯定是听不出来的，因为人工智能作曲的东西很容易通过图灵测试，我们普通人包括专业作曲家都听不出来的。
And somebody also think about they can easily recognize which song has been composed by AI, but actually maybe it's not because the AI music can easily pass the Turing test. And even the professional composers, they can't tell exactly which is the AI composition.
Yeah.
对，现在网络上很多人工智能作曲的已经感动人了，上了美国的排行榜，在中国的很多排行榜也是人工智能作曲的，现在已经分不出是人作曲的还是人工智能作曲的，所以说未来可能会有大部分的都是人工智能作曲的，我甚至都认为很多人工智能作曲的会做得很好。
So for now, actually a lot of the AI compositions, they already been so impressive and be on the list of some of the highly rankings in US or in China. So even personally, I think in the future, maybe a lot of the impressive songs composed by AI.
Yeah, we have a chance to have one of the biggest worldwide composer with us. Jean-Michel, how do you react when you listen to those words saying that, AI music is beating human music? I'm a little bit provocative because I know what is your mindset around this. How do you react?
I think it's not. I think it's more than not true. I think AI is harvesting the past, and what makes an artist specific is actually to take and to steal from the past to create something specific and unique. So the next Bad Bunny or the next Billie Eilish or the next Miles Davis has nothing to be scared about. What's interesting in music is how a musical idea is coming from. A musical idea is coming from in a mysterious way. Suddenly you have an idea, you want to exploit it, to say, I want to use this for a composition, let's say, or for a recording session, you know that. And where is it coming from? It's coming from the fact that, like an AI harvesting big data, your subconscious is actually harvesting your own analog data. And your analog data is what? Is your memory, your culture, your recollections, your family, your environment. And then we are used to this kind of process. So AI, in a sense, is broadening the frontiers of imagination. And it's what I used to say, AI for me is more augmented imagination than artificial intelligence. And I think that AI, technology always has been a catalyst for creating new art forms. And I'm absolutely convinced that not only AI is going to steal the job of artists, but it's going to help us to generate the genres of the 21st century.
Thank you for those positive words again. So, Jean-Michel, you are a stealer. This is what you are saying right now?
Yes, I'm stealing everything. I'm a thief. I'm stealing everything I can. I'm stealing everything I hear, everything I read, everything I look at. Like any other artist, we are constantly absorbing informations. And AI is allowing to improve this. Now, we shouldn't be naive, and there is, of course, IP, intellectual properties issues that we have to face and we have to solve. But that's another issue. That's another subject. We should not mix the tool and the way you use the tool. And that is, technology is neutral. And the use of technology is not neutral. And the whole thing is actually, we should address the fact that AI companies, without our content, would be a kind of empty architecture. So the value and the valorizations of these companies are depending on our content. we should not repeat enough that human creativity is the foundation of generative AI. So what we have to do is actually to sit down around the table with all these companies and finding a commercial deal. We are partners of these companies. So don't think that the way we were considering authors' rights, that it has been the case since Beaumarchais, since 2 centuries ago, is going to be efficient for AI. For one simple reason, today algorithms don't know the source, the origin of what they are sourcing. So we need to create a new grammar, a new vocabulary, a new system of communication between the creative world and the AI tech world.
Thank you for pointing this. So if I sum up what you're saying, if I've understood you correctly, the creation part and the generation part is something that is under control with positive views, but around the usage of it and the how, which is around the ethics, everything has to be done, because we are really at a blank page. Professor Li, you know how, and sorry, I'm a little bit provocative in my question. You know how ethics and how European point of view around ethics through China is sometimes challenged. What is your point of view around ethics, AI and art? Are you on the same page as Jean-Michel, or are you in a strictly different way?
未来啊，我们将会有人类跟 AI 共存的一个局面。
So in the future, I think the human beings could be with the AI and to living with AI.
所以说，我是人文主义者，未来有可能是有人文主义，也有可能有机文主义，或者是更大的人文主义。
So I am humanism, and in the future, I think maybe we do have humanism, and maybe we also have the messianism, and also maybe a bigger humanism.
当然，以人类为中心去发展世界是对的，但是可能以人类为中心的基础上，我们要以更大的哲学观去思考这个世界。
So as a human being as the center, and we keep developing of the world could be right, but in the future maybe we also think we need to have a larger philosophy vision.
我非常关注版权的问题，我也支持维护版权。但是未来如果是人工智能创造了大量财富的时候，有可能我们人类要重新定义财富，重新定义版权。
I do also very focusing on the patents or the rights, but in the future, if AI can make a lot of the new wealth, maybe we need to think about the new division. What's the wealth?
通俗的讲，当人工智能创造了大量的财富，当财富我们传统意义上的财富都不是财富，人工智能创造了大量的版权的行为，那么版权在大量的出现的时候，我们要重新定义这个世界。
So if the AI can create a lot of the new wealth, and the old wealth maybe is not the real wealth in the future, we need to think about how to make the definition, how to define the rights.
我不是伦理方面的专家，不是版权方面的专家，但是我领导的我们的这个系在人工智能音乐发展的过程中，我深深地感觉到，我们人类未来一定要跟人工智能交朋友，以更大的哲学观去发展。
So actually, I'm not an expert of the rights or an expert of the ethics, but with the developing of our department with our colleagues, and we do think in the future we need to think out of the box and as a bigger vision, and to see how to make friends with AI and how to going forward together.
我觉得这2年我们一定要尊重传统的版权的概念以及处理版权的事情，但是3、5年以后，可能要有更大的方法、更好的方法去解决这些问题。
So within these 2 years, maybe we need to focus on how to solve the problem coming from the original rights, but in the future, maybe after 3 years, we need to think about how to make it a big forward of the moving.
也许更快，也许更慢。
Or maybe faster, or maybe slower.
Yes, I would like also to comment on what has been just said, because we were talking about only the creative process, but what I've been very interested by also the visit at the music school in Beijing is also the use of AI for other things. I will give you an example. I've been really impressed by the fact that AI is used at your place, Professor Li, for instance, to use robotics to teach students how to approach an instrument for the first time when you are learning, for instance, cello or to play violin, from the beginning to have the right position. Because most of the time, until now, before AI, you had the teacher teaching you the position for, if you are studying cello, for instance, in a standard position based on the morphology of the hand of the teacher. But you know, my hands, your hands, his hands, every hand is specific. And the problem is when you start teaching an instrument, you always before started it wrongly. Because it was based on a standard position. Where AI is great is actually it can address individual process for every student. And it's a very good example of how AI can take care of every individual and goes to the reverse approach we have here in Europe, thinking that with AI we take the risk to create a kind of standardization of our society in the way we're approaching our day-to-day life. It's a very good example. Another aspect is the democratization aspect parameter. The fact that, for instance, it's where neuroscience is very interesting in this school is the fact that you know, soon everybody can be an artist, everybody can be a creator and a composer. AI is going to help everybody to be able to create without necessarily having the possibility to study an instrument. What I mean by this is not a minus, is a plus. Neuroscience will allow you in the future to create directly from your brain with electrodes on your brain to create music or to create visuals just because of your own sensitivity without any kind of interface, whatever the interface is, acoustic, electronic, or whatever. And this is where AI is a fantastic possibility to democratize creativity for everybody on the planet. So this is something important to show that AI is not this kind of dark enemy that's going to kill the creativity of artists. In my opinion, it's exactly the reverse.
And we know how creativity is also around well-being for human. Being able to create or generate a painting, a music is something that puts you in a spiritual approach. It's really good for our well-being. There's a paradox also. I don't know if it's in China, and perhaps you can also answer, Jean-Michel. In France, for example, all the national schools are really full. If you want to learn the piano today, you will have to wait several years sometimes because there's no room. All the classes are full. So the paradox is AI with a kind of baseline saying you don't need to learn instruments anymore to play or compose music. And on the other hand, all the conservatoire and national music schools are absolutely full, not enough space. Do you observe this the same thing in China?
So maybe before he answers, I would like to say that it's a difficult question because I do think as a French citizen that the way we're teaching music in France is the worst in the world. We have a lot to learn from China. Humility and also approaching the way to learn music as in a serious way. And you know, I'm always so sad to see that even now people are still having a plastic flute and a kind of méthode rose, or having young kids, hitting some glasses or things. It's appalling. And I think in that sense, I think AI will help us a lot in France, especially to actually. And I'm not talking about the teachers. The teachers in France are great. I don't want to because that's a typical French system. But you know, very different from China. I mean, we are in France a country of cinema and literature, more than music. Even if you have brilliant musicians, but in terms of the structure of our society, I will give you an example. CNC, Centre National du Cinéma, has been created in 1946. The CNM, the Centre National de la Musique, en 2020, 75 years later. It shares a lot of our country. This is the reason why that more than ever, because of the new technology involved, and because also this very interesting and subtle way to approach the way you learn art in China. We have a lot to learn, and we have lots to exchange.
Thank you, Jean-Michel. So the specificity of neuroscience in learning music, for example, in China is, as Jean-Michel was saying, a kind of one-to-one approach, being able to teach and to learn whatever my own morphology, or is there something else? What is the China secret to learn music in your country?
人工智能未来肯定要赋能音乐所有的学科的发展啊。中国最近出台了一个政策，就是针对这个美育的教育，全社会要进行美育的教育。我们未来人类的社会，人工智能时代，美育跟体育可能是最重要的。
In the future, AI must to give the benefits to all of the arts education in China. And recently, the Chinese government also issued some of the politics to encourage the art education and also the athletics education. That would be more important in the future.
能够欣赏美、感受美，是每个人得到的最基础的享受。能够得到一个很好的身体，是人类体育最基本的一个生存的态度。所以说，未来人工智能时代，可能艺术跟体育是人类必须要必备的两门最重要的功课，而且不一定是数理化。
Yeah, so how to feel about arts and how to get the sense about beautiful, that would be very important for the human beings, and also have a health body, and that is also important. So maybe those two are the more important in the future, and it could be a basic.
是，所以说现在的人类，发展到现在，美育以及这种就是我们的创造的灵性，科学家也是到最后的时候，那种灵性跟艺术家的灵性是一脉相承的。就是你到最后要创造最顶尖的人类，这些数学或者是物理方面的创造，也像一个艺术一样。它如果是一个很好的审美，它能够做得更极致。
And even for the scientists, and when they are doing very, very top innovations, it's almost the same as the artists. They also have some of the bright ideas and the very top level. So by learning from the art education, it also benefits the scientific the education.
所以说，现在中国现在普遍在扩大美育的教育，在各个中小学跟大学都在扩大美育的教育。这个是人类未来可能要具备的基本素质，美育。
So in China now, the art education can be broadcast in the either universities or the primary school, the high schools in China, and that will be also a fundamental education for the future in China.
所以说，未来这是基础的教育，在专业1对1的教育，刚刚主持人问的这个问题。我认为人工智能赋能专业的教育将会更加精致。就是我们人类的艺术啊，通过驾驭人工智能技术，可以把这个艺术做得更加极致、更加精致。他们的训练演奏也会做得更加精致、更加极致，不会出任何问题，而且艺术会更加感人、动人。
And that was from the fundamental art education, but for the professional one-to-one education for arts, like music education, and by using AI as the help, and the education for one-to-one could be more specific and even more higher professional.
在中国最近有个比较火的人工智能的歌手叫大头针，他的演唱感情比人类还充沛，而且每一个都很精致、很极致，打动了很多人。我现在听他唱歌，都觉得他比人类唱得好。
And recently there was the online pop music star, and that was AI, and the Chinese name is Da Touzhen. It's like a Neo.
Tao Token, say this again?
大头针.
Tao Token. Who's Tao Token?
How do you say? Yeah, it's just a name, but it's by hearing of the songs, it's very impressive, and even for Professor Li's view.
所以说未来啊，当然人类之间演唱是一方面，就是第一部分；第二部分是虚拟歌手也会占据一大部分，还有第三个就是人类跟虚拟歌手交互，就像刚刚一样，也会作为1/3。但是目前我认为人工智能做得很极致，只要是通过媒体出来的声音，我会选择人工智能。但是如果面对面的话，我会选择人类。
And in the future, maybe one of the part is the real human singer, and the other part, one of them is the virtual singer by AI, and maybe also another part is the human beings collaborated with AI singer, like the performance just now. And to think about the circumstance, maybe get the songs from media, maybe I will select AI, but face-to-face, I will select the real human singers.
Yeah. You know, just before you answer, you know that the previous sequence was around a showcase named Xelia, which is exactly a show performing what you're saying, having human artists and having AI vocal performing together. So first seconds is around a war. Few seconds later, it's around harmony. Jean-Michel, you wanted to get back to...
just wanted to go back to what I said before regarding what Professor Li was saying. Of course, for instance, we discussed this morning, and I think some people of the class are maybe in the room, that we have similar individual initiatives and brilliant ones in the region. I mean, following what we are talking about, having a very sophisticated and very innovative approach of teaching music and using AI. And we have individuals and individual initiatives. The problem I was pointing out is the difference between China and France, for instance, is the fact that at the government level or at the state level, there is a focus on education, regarding arts, which is not exactly at the same level in our country. And I think that AI, in that sense, can really improve the situation. And there is a very good example in the region of a kind of ecosystem very close to what Professor Li is doing. And I think that, this kind of fight we are talking about between AI and art form, for me, is already behind us. It's already dated. It's like if we are talking about the fight of electricity and electric guitar or whatever. It reminds me about this front page of the Sunday Times at the beginning of the 20th century when they say, people, be careful because over 50 kilometers per hour, your heart may explode if you use a steam train. So it's always this kind of paranoia we have regarding innovation, which we should not have, of course.
I'm smiling because I remember also your album with a hard rock guitar player, but that's another story. Before we take questions around the audience, we'll have a few minutes, and perhaps we can prepare our mics for the audience. Just a last very question, which is two questions. Professor Li and Jean-Michel, what is your vision around this in the 3 next years, and what are your dreams around the 10 coming years? So vision 3 years, dreams around 10 years.
未来3年发生是最大的3年啊，就是人工智能对音乐、对艺术的冲击将会是巨大的啊。刚刚说到这个人工智能作曲这一块哈，就是从音乐方面，可能有大部分的歌曲都是人工智能作曲的。包括演唱啊，都会是这样的。所以说，未来的艺术呢，会更加的极致，更加的精致，比传统意义我们人类可能还有一些瑕疵，没那么充沛啊。未来可能会发展的更加极致的艺术出现，就是传统的艺术会继续发展，这个人工智能赋能传统艺术会创新发展，人工智能可能会产生一种新的艺术，独立发展。
So in my vision, in the next 3 years, I think it could be a huge impact. The arts or music be impacted by AI, and not only just for the creation, but for the performance or others, it also be impacted by AI. And maybe most of the new songs was created by AI, and so. I think the original types of the music, it will be always ongoing. And the second part is the AI existed original music is also keep moving. And a new creation of pure AI music maybe also come to our real world, and it will be a new creation in the future.
我的结论是，人类未来的艺术将站在 AI 的巨人肩上前行。
So, as my conclusion, the future AI of human beings must be standing on the shoulder of AI and keep moving on. Thank you,
Professor. Jean-Michel.
Yes, I think that my vision for the next 3 years is actually the fact that AI should not be anymore considered as a threat, but as a super sophisticated collaborator. And my dream in the next 10 years is actually the fact that a musician or an artist will not be only the creator of his work, but the curator of his work by expanding choices when you are confronted to a decision of a composition decision, for example, for a musician, to have a lot more possibilities and to become a kind of curator of your own artistic life. And it's something which is very important that not a lot of people are considering when we are talking about AI. To have the drone position of yourself, of your own creativity, is something that AI will probably allow.
It was already complicated for artists, but then we have to step back even more and having this growth approach. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for your collaboration.
Thank you, everybody.
For your words. We have a few minutes for question. I don't know if we have mics in the room. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you. Nelly Gay, former school principal, and I have been 4 times in China, invited by our Ministry of Education. I would just ask, I have been in Peking, in Shanghai, in Guiyang, so I know a lot. But in those schools, teachers and students are working more than we do, 5, 6 days a week. And so I would just ask, do you know which percentage or how many hours you are dedicated to arts in general and to music in your secondary schools? Can you give us an idea? I don't know this, because I was a specialist of school leadership, not of music and arts. But I can imagine much more than we do.
其实中国的高中生现在的英语只是一般的音乐课，但是呢，因为中国的高考比较卷呢，比较那个，所以说在高中不是特别传统意义上，不会像这个初中小学或者专业的教学那么重视。但是最近2年，为了国家呢出台了很多政策，要在高中加入美育的教育。
So in the secondary schools, majority secondary schools in China, and originally because the music education is not part of the final examination to the university, so it's still a general education for the music, but recent years, the Chinese government also published some of the politics and to enhance the more professional music education in secondary schools or the primary schools in China.
人们认为艺术是触发创造力的一个基础，所以说现在全国也在这个美育艺术的教育在扩大，在这个高中生中展开。
And now we think the art education is a fundamental of the general education. So now it's getting more and more broader arts and or music educations in primary or secondary schools in China.
Thank you very much. And you said also before connected to science, so scientists and musicists, I think.
Yeah,
it's the same in Europe also, but not in France.
Neuroscience will be. So, we have time for two last questions. There's one question over there.
Merci. Richard Mollett from RELX. A lot of AI music we hear is very derivative. It sounds like the works it's been trained on. I wonder, Professor Li and Jean-Michel, have you in your research or in your work yet heard AI produce something which you think, oh my word, no human would have ever come up with that? And if you haven't, have you thought about trying to compose as if you were the AI coming up with something that's never been written by a human?
Yes, I'm in the middle of this kind of questions. Actually, I think it's all depending on what you again. I think again technology is neutral. It's all depending on how you use it. And as you know, with AI process, you have 2 ways for a musician: is to write a prompt or to feed the AI with some content. And in my opinion, all depending on your content. Again, if your prompt and your content is interesting, I think the result could be quite unexpected. And this is what I'm quite experimenting at the moment. We know that AI, I mean, the most developed medium, I would say, is the writing. The second one is the visual, and the third one is the sound, because it's more difficult to deal with textures, and not only pitch or a rhythm. The problem of textures is still something that we should develop and that we should progress on with AI. But having said that, again, it's all depending on on prompt. People are thinking that, oh, with AI, everything is easy. No, no, no. Everything is difficult with AI. And I would say that something very interesting for us artists or producers is actually we will see in 10 or 20 years from now that the year 2020s, 2030s will be considered in the futures as the golden age of AI, because AI is still very imperfect. It's like the beginning of the silent movies or beginning of black and white movies, when you still have a lot of mistakes, lots of accidents. And I think it's great to exploit them, because they're going to define the style of our decade. Because in 20 years or 10 years, it will be too perfect. And then all what we can create in a kind of laborious way these days is going to disappear for something else, and maybe better, but maybe not necessarily better, but different. And just take the opportunity or sweating a little bit with the AI software we have at the moment. I think it's worthwhile.
Thank you. Time for a very last question. Okay, I didn't understand, Jean-Michel, when is the date of your next release?
I don't know yet. But soon, but not that soon. Maybe beginning of next year or something like that.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much.